Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewers, Dimple 53, a truly fitting name for today's topic. Thanks for the suggestion, Dimple. You asked, why do golf balls have dimples? If you've ever held a golf ball, you've probably noticed it's covered in tiny little indents, like a ping pong ball with commitment issues. But these dimples aren't just for style. They're actually the secret behind how golf balls fly so far and so fast. So, if you've ever wondered why golf balls look like they have a bad case of acne, stick around, because today we're breaking down the weird, wonderful science behind dimples, right here on Explaining Everything. Believe it or not, golf balls didn't always have dimples. Back in the early days of golf, think 14th century Scotland, when people were basically playing in heavy coats and hats made of sadness, golf balls were smooth. Just a nice little orb of leather stuffed with feathers. And as you might imagine, these didn't exactly break speed records. Then, something weird happened. As golfers played, they noticed that old, beaten-up balls with nicks, cuts, and scratches actually flew farther than brand new ones. Now, you'd think someone would have taken this as a sign to just make better balls, but instead, they leaned all the way in and decided, hey, let's just make these things ugly on purpose. Fast forward a few centuries, and here we are. Golf balls covered in a pattern of dimples because science said so. All right, time to get a little nerdy. You see, when a golf ball is flying through the air, it has to deal with two major forces. 1. Lift. This is what helps the ball stay in the air. 2. Drag. This is what slows it down. A smooth golf ball would get absolutely wrecked by drag. The air would just slam into it, creating a huge turbulent wake behind it. Kind of like when a truck zooms past you on the highway and nearly sucks you into another dimension. Dimples fix this. When air hits a dimpled ball, it actually sticks to the surface a little longer, creating a thin layer of turbulence. I know, turbulence doesn't sound like something you want, but in this case, it actually helps the air flow more smoothly around the ball. This reduces the size of the wake behind it, meaning less drag and more distance. In simple terms, dimples are like golf ball aerodynamics hacks. But wait, there's more! Dimples don't just reduce drag, they also increase lift. You know how planes stay in the air because of their wing shape? Well, a spinning golf ball with dimples creates a similar effect. When you hit a golf ball, it usually has backspin. The dimples help create a pressure difference between the top and bottom of the ball, so the air on top moves faster, while the air on the bottom moves slower. This generates lift, making the ball stay in the air way longer than it would otherwise. So basically, without dimples, your golf shots would be about as impressive as a soggy French fry. Now, if you're thinking, well, how much of a difference could it really make? The answer is a lot. A smooth golf ball, when hit with the same force as a dimpled one, would travel about half the distance. That's right, half. You'd be out there swinging like Tiger Woods, but your ball would barely make it past the ladies' tees. In fact, professional golfers have tried this experiment. and watching them absolutely whiff their shots because the ball refuses to fly is hilarious. The Dimples are doing more work than we ever give them credit for. If Dimples are so great, why don't we just cover the entire ball in them? Like a million dimples, dimples on dimples. Well, that's where things get tricky. Scientists and golf manufacturers have obsessed over this. The ideal number of dimples is usually between 300 and 500. Too few, and the ball won't get enough aerodynamic benefits. Too many, and the ball starts to get unpredictable, like that one uncle who drinks too much at family reunions. Golf brands even experiment with different shapes, hexagons, asymmetrical patterns, even randomized dimples, all in the name of finding the absolute best design for maximum distance and control. You might be wondering, if dimples are such a game changer, why don't we put them on every ball? Well, we do, kind of. Baseballs have stitching that creates similar aerodynamic effects, helping pitchers throw wicked curveballs. Soccer balls have panel seams that influence their flight. Even some race cars use dimple-like textures to reduce drag and go faster. So golf balls aren't alone in their weirdness. They just took it to the extreme. Golf balls have dimples because science figured out they fly way farther and straighter that way. Without them, golf would be an even more frustrating sport than it already is, which is saying something. Next time you see a golf ball, just remember, those little dimples are doing some serious, heavy lifting. And the next time someone tries to tell you golf isn't a sport, hit them with the aerodynamics lesson of the century. If you enjoyed this, smash that like button like you just hit a hole-in-one, or at least like you wish you did, and subscribe while you're at it. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.